organic, unpredictable, unknown, lovely, beautiful, a sense of fulfillment. This is part of the pleasures of life and not the chores of life.
Coming up on Daily Iowan TV, local artists are featured at the IMU Thieves Market. Hear what attendees had to say about the local event.
And unemployment rates are down slightly. Hear what President Obama had to say about the improvement.
And the Hawk fans have been waiting to see which bowl Iowa will be attending this year. We'll get ready to start booking flights as we have the update on the Hawks postseason.
All that and more is coming your way next.
Daily Iowan TV starts now. Thanks for tuning into your Sunday edition of Daily Iowan TV, your television news, sports, and weather source for the Daily Iowan. I'm Josh Bolander.
And I'm Emily Bussey. An Iowa City police officer fired his handgun at a man early this morning after he allegedly reached toward his own gun. According to police, officers responded to a call from a relative asking them to check on 21-year-old Chad Newmeyer at about 6 a.m. Newmeyer was allegedly in front of his Summit Street residence with a handgun tucked in his pants. Police negotiated with Newmeyer until he allegedly made movements toward his own gun. Then one officer deployed beanbag rounds, another used a taser, and a third officer fired his handgun. Newmeyer was taken to the UI hospitals and clinics for non-life-threatening injuries, and the officer who fired at Newmeyer was put on paid leave per standard protocol.
Over 100 local artists were featured at the Holiday Thieves Market today. The 2011 Holiday Thieves Market was hosted at the IMU throughout the weekend, giving locals a chance to get a little holiday shopping done and support area artists. The event took place all day Saturday and Sunday and was sponsored by the UI's Fine Arts Council. Artists gathered on campus to display and sell some of their original works. The artists presented their crafts, including paintings, jewelry, and woodwork.
Brandon Plummer, the 20-year-old UI student charged with attempted murder of an Iowa City police officer, is still in jail as of Sunday evening. Plummer was arrested last week after Crime Stoppers received an anonymous tip. On November 18th, Plummer allegedly strangled Sergeant Brian Cray and slammed his head on the concrete after Cray stopped him at the corner of Lynn and Burlington Street for obstructing traffic. Plummer allegedly then fled the scene. On Sunday, a family with which Plummer previously lived talked to the Daily Iowan about difficulties in Plummer's past. Read tomorrow's print edition for more.
GOP presidential contenders are looking to pick up Herman Cain's supporters after Cain announced he was dropping out of the race on Saturday. Following several allegations of sexual harassment and a claim of a 13-year affair, all of which he denies, the Georgia businessman closed his campaign over the weekend. During his campaign, Cain pushed his 999 plan that would set sales, corporate, and individual income tax rates at 9%. And for Democrats today, last month's drop in unemployment rates are a positive sign. The Labor Department reported unemployment rates fell from 9% in October to 8.6% in November. President Obama touted the improvement, saying that the American economy is on the upswing despite struggling this year. He said the economy has created more than 500,000 jobs in the last 4 months. Part of the improvement, however, comes from 300,000 people ending their job searches, meaning they're no longer counted as unemployed.
And the State Board of Regents will once again consider tuition and fee increases at their meeting this week. At their October meeting, Regents first discussed the proposed 3.75% tuition increase for in-state students and a 4.75% tuition increase for non-resident UI students. The Regents will discuss the increases for all 3 Regent universities during their telephonic meeting this week.
Locals were immersed in gospel music Saturday night as the group Voices of Soul performed in Iowa City. Daily Iowan TV's Christina Targos gives us a deeper look at this dynamic group.
Last night, the Congregational United Church of Christ was ringing with the sounds of gospel as the group Voices of Soul held their annual fall concert. Voices of Soul is a gospel choir dedicated to the maintenance of musical heritage of African American people. In 1970, it was organized by 2 Waterloo women, Yolanda LeJeune Wright Stinson and Jeanette Simpson Ellison, to add to the few non-athletic extracurricular opportunities for African American students here at Iowa at the time, and the group became noticed very quickly. It started with just 7 members, and that number quickly grew to 30. Currently, the group has about 30 members and practices during both the fall and spring semesters, with concerts at the end of each semester. They are also a touring and CD recording group. Last year was their first annual tour, and they plan to do that again this spring break. The audience of their concert was also entertained by the gospel singing of the group's inspirational music, Campus Crusade for Christ, and the LWKC Choir. The messages of the songs were very inspirational, and the audience was not afraid to show their emotions.
Basically to teach, not only the University of Iowa, but also the surrounding communities about gospel music, about a bunch of people who have come together who love to sing and love to praise, and also spotlight our different cultures.
And Voices of Soul is always looking to share their wonderful music with others. So whether you are young or old, student or staff, all you have to do is love to sing. Christina Targos, Daily Iowan TV.
And still more to come from Daily Iowan TV. Students gathered this weekend to learn how to stitch for a good cause. Find out who they aim to help.
Plus, in sports, two dual meets in one weekend for the Iowa wrestling team. See if the squad could handle the quick turnaround.
All of this and more to come, but first let's take a look at our local weather forecast. Adam, it's freezing out there tonight. Will we get relief this week?
It doesn't look like it, Emily. Get ready to bundle up this week. Monday starts off below freezing at 28 degrees and will barely get up above freezing by midday. And by Monday night, those temperatures will drop back down to the mid-20s. And let's take a look ahead at the rest of the week. Things will be cool and cloudy throughout the week. A little bit of sun on Wednesday will heat things up just a little bit on Wednesday and Thursday, but we probably won't even break 40 degrees this week. And don't plan to be out and about next weekend. We'll probably be below freezing on Friday and Saturday. So that's what you can expect for weather this week. Back to you guys in the studio.
Charles Thompson, charged with first-degree murder of an Iowa City landlord in 2009, entered a plea deal over the weekend. Thompson pleaded guilty to accessory after the fact, which is an aggravated misdemeanor. He also signed court documents stating he knew Justin Marshall, another first-degree murder suspect, murdered John Versipt in October of 2009. Thompson's retrial has been canceled.
And last night, the IMU UI students cross-stitched and knitted to help raise money for uneducated kids from less fortunate countries. DITV's Nick Rector was on hand to take a closer look.
Free the Children Foundation is an organization that aims to have kids help less fortunate kids through education. Since its beginning in 1995, it has built more than 650 schools worldwide. Last night, the UI's Free the Children student organization hosted its Stitch for a Cause event, creating knitted items that will be sold locally to benefit the foundation's cause.
Part of Free the Children, what they have is handmade goods like from around the world that they sell too, and I thought it'd be neat to kind of do something similar that, kind of to share in the same kind of handmade.
Students studied up on instructional books and were taught the basics of knitting and cross-stitching. Aside from the stitching, the event also served pizza and was a fun Saturday night hangout for UI students who were looking for a change of scenery.
I know that stitching and knitting is something that I like to do a lot, and I know it's kind of a growing thing here. I know a lot more people are getting into knitting and stitching, so I thought it'd be a fun thing to bring in what people are interested in and interested in doing, and that can help other people.
UI's Free the Children student organization began earlier this year and has about 20 members. Despite low numbers at their Stitch for a Cause event, the group plans on hosting multiple events in the spring semester. Nick Rector, Daily Iowan TV.
In light of the recent Penn State scandal, Iowa educational officials are looking at possibly amending some of the Regent University's sexual assault policies. Officials will discuss possible changes, such as creating rules about locker room conduct, this week. The Iowa Youth Sexual Assault Chair told the Daily Iowan that colleges and high schools need to focus on enforcing preventative measures.
The feminist-themed sex-positive sex shop opened this weekend despite receiving a notice that their lease would be terminated. 2 local women have worked for months to find a location for their sex shop, Toolbox, and recently secured a spot on Washington Street above Jimmy John's. Despite the notice explaining that the sale of sex-related products is offensive to the landlord, the women opened the shop anyway and set up a petition for people to support the store. Read tomorrow's Daily Iowan to hear what neighboring store owners had to say about Toolbox.
And as the college football regular season came to a close last night, I'm sure Hawkeye fans are eager to see where the Hawks will be playing in the postseason. We now turn to Daily Iowan TV Sports' Nick Robertson for a look at Hawkeye sports.
Yeah, Josh. In fact, it has been officially announced Iowa will be heading to Tempe for the second straight year in a row. The Insight Bowl has invited the 7-5 Hawkeyes to play on December 30th in Sun Devil Stadium. Tune in tomorrow to Daily Iowan TV to get Kirk Ferentz's reaction about the Iowa Hawkeyes' future bowl trip to Arizona. And in wrestling, after a close call in Carver Hawkeye Arena on Friday, the Iowa wrestling squad had a quick turnaround. According to head coach Tom Brands, the top-ranked Hawkeyes were not what he wants them to be at this point.
Tell you what, finals are right around the corner, and I'll tell you what, for midterm or mid-semester, it's a D-. And that's because we got a lot of firepower. And that can be, oh, that's Brands being Brands. And you know what, all you people out there that think that's Brands being Brands, I'll tell you something. That's not Brands being Brands, because I know what this team has for firepower.
Coach Brands also felt his team was vulnerable heading into the Cy-Hawks showdown against Iowa State. But with the quick turnaround, the Hawks looked anything but vulnerable in Ames on Sunday afternoon. The Hawks jumped to an early lead with junior Matt McDonough, who was coming off his first ever loss in Carver Hawkeye Arena on Friday. He won the easy decision to put the Hawks up 3-0 early. Both Tony Ramos and Derek St. John looked in mid-season form as both pinned their man in the second round. The Hawks rode a 22-0 lead into intermission. After the break, though, the Cyclones turned the tables and took 3 straight matches and closing Iowa's lead to 12. But Iowa answered with 2 straight decision wins, one by way of freshman Bobby Telford, and the Hawkeyes would take the day, winning 27-9 over the rival Iowa State. The Iowa swimming and diving teams have been in action all weekend at the Hawkeye Invitational in Iowa City in what has been an impressive outing for the 10th-rated Hawks. On Saturday, Grant Batulis broke the school record for 100-meter backstroke, and Becky Sutton broke the 400-meter individual medley to continue her season-long unbeaten streak. And in diving, Veronica Rides took first place for the second time this season. The Hawks were in second place on Saturday and will finish up the meet later today. Fran McCaffrey and the Iowa men's basketball team was back in action on Saturday. The team looked to bounce back on Saturday after a tough loss to Clemson last Tuesday. Ivy League Brown was in Iowa City to face the Hawks, and the Hawks started off hot in the first half as Zach McCabe here scores a 3-point shot. Zach McCabe scored the Hawkeyes' first 5 points of the night. And here's Bryce Cartwright with the dish downloaded Melson Basabi. And Basabi finally had the game Hawk fans were hoping that he'd have this season. He dropped 14 points and 10 rebounds after only putting up 8 points in the last 4 games. And here's Mel fighting for one of his 10 boards, and as the Hawks took a 38-24 lead going into the break. The Hawks came out halftime with a spark, and here's off the Basabi miss jumper. Matt Gatens grabs the rebound back to Basabi with the big jam less than a minute after that. Melson rebounds off the missed shot of Brown, outlet pass to Cartwright, and Cartwright floats the ball up to a great slam by Eric May. After that, the Hawkeyes cruised to a 75-54 win. Basabi finally with a double-double, and his breakout game of the season has come in the right time. This week, the men's squad will take its first true road trip in exciting fashion as they travel to Cedar Falls and Ames. That's right, the Hawks' next 2 opponents are heated in-state rivals, UNI and Iowa State.
Well, I mean, I think that's what college basketball is. I mean, it's what you look for, those kinds of games and that kind of intensity level. And, you know, it's a great opportunity for us to test where we are, you know, before we go into Big Ten play.
It's huge. You know, it's with a lot of Iowa guys, a lot of Iowa pride on the line, and especially with a team like UNI who's had a lot of success. You know, it's a big deal, not only myself, but this team. And, you know, we'll talk to, you know, the new guys who maybe don't know much about it yet from out of state. You know how much, you know, these 3 games mean to this program and this state.
A dramatic finish for Lisa Bluter and the Iowa women's basketball team as they took the Kansas State Wildcats into overtime in Manhattan, Kansas on Saturday. But Bluter's bunch couldn't finish the job and lost 81-78. Jamie Prenti led the team in scoring with 21 points. She was 5 of 15 on the day. So guys, a tough loss out in Manhattan, but the team is looking to rebound.
Thanks, Nick. And only with Daily Iowan TV can you get a sneak peek at Monday's pages of the Daily Iowan. Read about the immigration debate as the Daily Iowan continues its 10-day series exploring the major issues in the 2012 presidential race. Plus, read about how the men and women's track teams fared this weekend in Daily Iowan sports.
And before we go, here's one last look at Monday's weather forecast. You can expect mostly sunny skies with a high of around 34 degrees. Going into the evening, temperatures will drop to about 20 with mostly cloudy skies.
That's your latest update from Daily Iowan TV. You can tune in tomorrow at the same time or check us out online at dailyiowan.com.
Thanks for watching and have a great day.